It's exciting. It's exciting. I think the beautiful part is that it's in front of us. You know what I mean? Not looking back, not looking forward. I think just trying to take it a day, one game at a time, understanding that, this is a big game for us, not only for, building to what we want to do, but, as far as, our division and stuff like that, it means a lot as well. So, this is very well could be a team we end up playing in the playoffs. Like, there's so much movement, you never know what it could look like. So we got to be ready to go from the jump.
They're one of the best defensive teams in the league, and you've played a lot of these really good defensive teams over the last month and had success. When you play a team like that, how does the offense, what's the key to execution against a deep defense?
Well, just keep getting up and down the floor, keep playing with randomness. When you give a team, the best defensive teams know all your sets, know all your counters to those sets. So I think the best thing we can do is just keep playing random basketball, getting stops in our own right so we can get up and transition. And make them play at our pace. They obviously play a little bit of slower game compared to us, but they got a lot of different weapons that they can use, and it's a really well-coached team, so looking forward to competing against them.
You've talked about every game being important, and this could be your first playoff berth. How do you keep the pressure off yourself for these games late in the season?
I mean, every game I think matters at this point. I think that's how it's been, through the last couple months, but to the question, I think it's something that had to deal with throughout the season, but I think that us as a group, we've just done a good job of, keeping the locker room light, enjoying where our feet are, and really living in the moment at times as much as we can, because we're like we talked about, all of our goals are in front of us and everything we've ever wanted to do. So I think a lot of us are young guys, a lot of us are inexperienced, haven't played in the playoffs. We all want to do that together, and we feel like we have a lot of trust and faith in this group. So we just want to get there, want the opportunity to get there, and we'll be ready once that happens.
Does it help in a way that it's this wide open? I mean, basically, that you've got 2 games left and you have literally no idea where you're going to end up the week.
I mean, help. I don't really know.
In the sense of keeping you guys locked in, that it's not you're playing for a play-in spot or you're playing for 6th or whatever. You could be 3rd, 4th, and all things are possible.
Yeah, I guess, but I think at the end of the day, the way I look at it is we just want to get to the playoffs. Obviously everybody in the NBA doesn't want to play in the play-in. If you can avoid it, you want to be a top 6 seed, right? But I think that's pressure that we've put on ourselves all year. We have been saying we want to be in the playoffs, we don't want to be in the play-in. So that was our goal from the jump, and we're right there, and we have the opportunity to do that. And so I think that's the main focus. But again, it's really a day at a time, because the minute, I know it's only a week away, but the minute you start thinking about a week away, now you're in the play-in. So, we just got to take care of business, take care of what's in front of us.
The standings are posted over there on the wall. Are you somebody that peeks at that, maybe after game looks at the scoreboard? How do you approach stuff like that?
Well, I'm the one who made him start updating the stand. He's on the wall. I think that was from the old coaching staff, and we didn't really use that when I got here and didn't use it last year, but we made an emphasis that we wanted it updated on a daily basis. Obviously, people weren't really looking at it through the start of the year, but your eyes are a little more attached to it now. But I think that's just a good constant reminder of when you're in here, seeing what your goals are and seeing how far back you are. And I think that's good for us, to be able to see. And it's not, truthfully, it's not something we talk about. We don't talk about it as a team. We don't talk about it on the plane. We don't talk about it on the bus. We don't talk about it in the locker room. We don't really care. We want to be in the playoffs. We know that, but it's not we're not just talking about, if this happens and this happens, we can play them, we can play them. We really don't care who we play. We have faith that we can beat anybody in the league. We just got to get to the playoffs and be able to have the chance to prove that.
You talk about being internet savvy. Did you see LeBron call TJ one of his favorite players right now? And if so, what did you think of that?
That's pretty cool. I think it's hard not to love TJ's game, especially over the last couple of months, what he's been doing. He's been amazing. He's one of, if not the best backup point guard in the league, and I'm very thankful to have that on my off nights, and thankful to have a guy that I can also play alongside with, off the bench as well. So, I think everybody would love to have TJ McConnell on their team just because of all the things that he can do, but just who he is in the locker room as well. Early in the year, the guy was getting DMPs, and I think big kudos to him of sticking through that, being a great teammate, and being ready when his number was called. And I think the thing about TJ is, I think all of his teammates that he's ever had can probably say, training camp, he's usually the best player in training camp. Pickup, he's usually the best player in pickup. I think what he's done for himself is amazing, but I'm really thankful for him being in my life to help push me on a daily basis because,
I'm a terrible practice player, so when I have somebody like that who's, busting my ass sometimes, it really helps me just know that I got to be locked in, and he doesn't really allow me to have off days. So I'm really thankful to have a guy like that on our team.
What makes what he does on offense, what makes him so tough to guard, and what's hard about what he does to replicate? Like, if you were trying to teach somebody to play like TJ McConnell, is it
good
hard
luck.
to do that? Yeah.
It's just I think it's unorthodox, right? Like, he shoots a lot of mid-range fadeaways. You can't duplicate that on video games. Like, you can't duplicate that really anywhere. Like, that's really an automatic shot for him. And I think that's something I didn't really know until I got here with him and really be with him every day. But I think that he just works so well on the baseline. Like, I don't think that's a comfortable spot for really anybody in the NBA to play in, and I think that's where he really prefers to operate, is on the baseline. But the thing is, every NBA player is well-natured to play in the middle of the floor, so he prefers to play on the baseline, but then when you push him to the middle of the floor, we've all done that our whole life, so like, it's easy for him. I think just how good he is on the baseline is just different, and he does a really good job of finishing backside, front side, both hands. I think he's just a really tough cover for anybody, so I think that's what the majority of scouting reports would say. It's just you got to be locked in, and obviously, I would tell him he's not the most physically intimidating guy. At the same time, I think sometimes you think like, oh, I get a rest. That's not the rest guy. Like, that's far from the guy that you get to rest with, because he just is nonstop. I think like the way you look at it is you're either applying pressure or getting pressure applied to you.
Right.
And offensively, TJ's always applying pressure. I think that's what makes him special.
I think I read the story that they did on Arizona. They're like, you don't realize how high he gets up, you don't realize how fast he is, and I guess you don't realize how strong he is.
Yeah.
Like, for his not looking intimidating, or there's things he can do with his body that give him an advantage that people don't see coming.
Yeah,
I think that he's really thankful for the way our group plays now.
Yeah.
I think this style of play fits in better than the previous groups he's been a part of. Like, I can vividly remember playing the Pacers my second year and them walking the ball up every time down the floor. I mean, he's still at 30, but like I think that like us getting up and down the floor and allowing him to play off of pistol action, allowing him to get to that baseline and really get up and down the floor. Like, he's tough to cover, and I think he plays balls to the wall at all times. Like he's on defensively and offensively, and I think that style of play really suits the way that he plays and is allowing him to have a career year.
Is it really hard to get under control like this, I guess, to be able to pull up at 5 feet and not smoke it?
I think he has really good breaks. Like, he has a really good job of playing a million miles an hour, and what he'll do is like attack you twice, finish with a layup, and now you're thinking, okay, I can't let him get another layup. That's when he stops on a dime and shoots his mid-range, which I think is what he would prefer to get to out of everything. Right. So, when he's got it going, he's a really tough cover, I think, for anybody in the league. So, I think that's a big part of why he's having success.
Yeah, I saw it. Obviously, very humbling. Him noticing kind of what we're doing here, but all of it wouldn't be possible without my teammates. Him and Myles' comparisons were a little different. But like I said, all joking aside, it's humbling, especially from a guy like him.
What has this last kind of 8 weeks meant to you in terms of best scoring output you've ever had, being trusted to play like this?
You guys hear me say it all the time. I'm just kind of letting the game come to me, and I'm finding lanes to get to the basket, getting to my spots, shooting the three when I'm open, and getting my teammates the ball and be a pest on defense. Maybe being a little bit more, willing to score and going to continue to do so.
Did you have to think about how your role would change with second unit when Benedict had his shoulder injury, or was it just kind of natural to change a little bit of what you were doing?
Yeah, I think it was pretty natural, kind of just, obviously when you lose a guy like him, you got to have people step up, and I think, not just me, but everyone has stepped up in a good way to kind of fill his void.
Was, I guess, important, like along those lines, was it important for you to be the guy that was breaking people down off the dribble? I guess when you had both of you guys together, you had two guys who could really attack and create that way. Did you kind of view it as, whether you were scoring more or not, you were the guy who had to break people down with the defense off the balance?
Yeah, Rick's always saying create a problem, and when you lose a guy that's able to get into the paint and break people down, like I said, you got to have people do it twice as much, and I'm just trying to be aggressive and get in the paint and take what the game comes to me.
The team has a fun mix of veterans who've got playoff experience and others that are just craving it. What do you say to those that haven't been there as you approach these final couple games and then potentially next week?
We can't look ahead. We got 2 games left, and I know the playoffs are right there, and it's just a different animal. It's really, really difficult to win in the playoffs. And we just gotta kind of focus on the task at hand right now, and that's playing against Cleveland.
You treat this game as like a playoff game then?
Absolutely. I think for the rest of the last two games, these last two games should be treated as playoff games heading into the playoffs.
Garland, Mitchell, a lot of headlines for what they can do in the backcourt if you're matched up with them. What do you try to do to make things difficult?
Just slow them down. It's really hard to shut guys down in this league. Just the volume of offensive sets and how much people have the ball in their hands, but it's a collective unit thing, and we got to do it. Guy 1 all the way to guy 15, and it's going to take a team effort to come out of Cleveland with a win.
How do you think your sort of, short-range to mid-range game has evolved since you've been in the league? That's obviously been how you've attacked offense in general as long as you've been playing. But how do you feel like you've added to that? Just added to your capacity.
I don't know. Really, just try to play my game. I don't, if I have the opportunity to get downhill, I do, and if there's space, I'll rise up or get to the rim. It's really that simple. It's not complicated, and just kind of reading the defense and seeing what they're doing.
How hard is it to play as fast as you do and get under control? I guess that's the thing. A lot of people try to play fast, but there's something to be said about gathering and making sure you're not smoking a 5-foot jumper, basically, and you're obviously able to do that pretty, reliably, hit that shot. What does that require to be able to get under control if you're playing that fast and making quick decisions that close to the rim?
I guess just change of pace, really. It might look like I'm going 100 miles an hour, but I may stop and then go the other way and stuff like that. It's really just controlled chaos when it comes down to it.
What did you make of the pumped-in crowd noise? What it can do for you guys tomorrow?
Very game-like place. It's a hard place to play. I'm not sure guys are allowed in the lane on the free throw, but that's what we were doing. But it simulated how loud it's going to be tomorrow for sure.
I'm actually glad we don't have to practice anymore. This is the best time of the year because you don't have to practice. It's a lot of film, it's less on the body, and I think this is one of our last real like competitive practice, if you will. So this is the best time of the year. I think that this is where everybody's tuned in. What we worked the entire season for, we worked on the off seasons for. So it's definitely exciting.
It's kind of cool to look at the mix of, let's say, your 10 or 11 rotation players. It's about half and half of guys who have been a part of this and those that are craving that opportunity. How does that even energize you to see those guys still wanting this first chance?
Well, I think the first playoffs, for a lot of guys like Ty or some of our young guys like Sticks and all those guys who've never been there before, like you enter with a renewed sense of energy because it's just new. You're just playing, you're not really sure what to expect, but that energizes you up even more in a sense. So I'm excited for the guys to get their first opportunity and just for myself just to be back here. It's been a long, 3-4 years, whatever it's been.
What's the value of getting to this point and it's Thursday, the season ends Sunday. You have no idea what seat you could end up. It's this wide open based on there's this much possibility.
I think it's best case scenario for us is we control our own destiny. We don't have to depend on somebody else. So these 2 games we take care of business, then I think we just know at least have an idea what we'll be.
How well is Obi playing right now? I mean, he's 5 straight in double figures, but really also providing energy boost.
Just as consistent as anybody in the league, I think. I think he shot the ball so much better this year, than I expected and whatnot. Just playing against him in New York, I didn't realize he can shoot the ball as well as he does. And you're right, he brings that level of energy, consistency, and a lot of defensive versatility as well. So he's definitely stepped up to the call this year, and I'm glad he'll get his moment, in these playoffs this year as well.
The bench has received a lot of praise, deservedly so, but this is a team that balance is the key. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we're a type of team that anybody can go off for 20, any given night, and those are the most dangerous teams to play. It's hard to scout that. So our bench definitely, give us a boost the entire season. We got the slow starts, so right there to pick it back up, and a lot of that's on, TJ McConnell. He leads that group and emotional leader of the group as well. And I think he's really stepped up this year as well. He just changed his entire morale, his personality, and it's showed.
There's some talk from this group around the in-season tournament about how the gravity of those games was helpful for this young team and having a game like that. Do you feel like that's helped you in this last couple of weeks as all these have been really important with the playoffs coming up?
Yeah, the environment, more than anything, just to see that early in the season and just have a taste of what it would be during the playoffs, I think was helpful. And just national games, exposure, all the type of stuff that comes with the playoffs. It's cool just to get that as early as we did.
When we were waiting to get in, we heard the crowd noise during practice. You enjoyed the crowd noise to get you ready for a tough road game?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's part of it. I think that it's really a matter of what's coming with the playoffs. It's more intense, and obviously a lot of fans show up for you. It's just that time of the year.
The standings are posted on the wall over there near that basket that you normally shoot at a lot. Is that something that you take a peek at ever? Do you look at the standings?
I mean, I'd be lying if I said I didn't. It's right there in front of your face. Feel me? It's not something I go searching out for, but I mean, if you have a big board right in front of your face, it's like, oh, okay, we're in 6. It's just, it's just there.
Not sure whether we'll have a chance to talk to you before Sunday, but it's Fan Appreciation Day, and you're someone who's not been shy about how much they mean to you and the team. What can you say about the atmosphere that you've seen in that building this season?
It's definitely been to a different level, I would say. I think that at times, at least my tenure here in the past, it wouldn't really get loud to the fourth quarter, whereas this year it's been consistent, you know what I mean? Big plays, gets people on their feet. I mean, I think it's a lot of fun just for newer fans like the Indiana Pacers to kind of see this culture and what we're about here at Gainbridge. So I know they're gonna be ready. I know they're gonna be revved up. It's been waiting for quite some time just to get back to this point. Even last time we were in the playoffs, it was in the bubble. So they didn't really get a chance to really have that feel. So it's gonna be a fun time.
You obviously get to play Cleveland a lot every year, but what are they like just as a challenge? Consider the bigs they've got, caliber of guards with Donovan and those guys. They've obviously had some guys in and out this season who are pretty close to full strength. What are they like just as a
depth?
challenge?
I mean, I think they present depth. They're one of the better defensive teams in the league, and then we just got to match their intensity on the road.
I'm enjoying it, man. I've been seeing those NCAA tournament games and just the vibe in there and the excitement around such competitive games. So I'm sure it's going to be even a bigger step up. So I'm excited to compete.
Cleveland has a dynamic backcourt, whether you're matched up with Mitchell or Garland. What are some of the things you'll try to do defensively?
I think it's the same thing most nights. It's just get up and guys, pick them up full court, try to make it tough on them, understand what tendencies, what they like to get to. But it's going to be a team effort to kind of come together and get those stops and get out and run.
You played Cleveland 3 times, but only 1 time did Mitchell play. So what unique things does he do? How elite is he as a scoring guard?
Yeah, I mean, his explosiveness is super unique. His first step and how he's powerful when he gets into the paint is different, and he can pull up and shot make from anywhere too. So he's gonna be a tough guard. I think me and Aaron will get a lot of reps on him. So something you gotta continue to make it tough on, make him take tough shots.
How much work did you put in on the corner 3 specifically last offseason and even throughout this season?
I mean, I put a lot of work in my 3-point in general. I just ended up getting a lot of those corner 3s just in the way it's kind of flown and kind of came to me. But it's been feeling good coming to my hands since the break, for sure.
Did you make of that crowd noise and how it can prepare you for tomorrow?
That crowd noise is not preparing me for nothing. That we just did right there. It was fun, but not gonna be the same.
What's just this circumstance you guys been in? I mean, it's been so close in terms of playoff seeding and where everybody's at. I mean, what do you think that's added to each game, basically, and how do you think that's prepared you?
Sorry, say that one more time.
The fact that the standings are so close and the fact that every game has mattered as much as it has over the last couple of weeks, how much do you think that's kind of gotten you into that playoff mindset? How much do you think what's going on now prepares you for what's coming?
Good for us. We have young guys, and most of us haven't really played in the playoffs before. So these tight, close games where we have to take it very serious, and I mean every game's serious, but these games that mean so much late in the season are good for us to go through and experience going into the playoffs.
I had a question on TJ. I know we probably asked this before, but what makes what he does on offense tough to replicate, and what makes it tough to guard? Like, I mean, when you watch him, you're like, man, I don't even, do you look at it and say that's something I can do if I tried?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be exactly like TJ. We have different games, we do different stuff, we get to different things, but I think what makes it so tough is he's persistent and he's always we talk about multiple thrusts. He's that guy that just is not going to stop. He'll use as many dribbles as it needs to get to his spot and create that confusion in the defense or that second guy to come over. And if they don't, he hits that shot, feels like 95% of the time. And if not, he's going to make the right play for his teammates. So he's just good at creating advantages out there.
How hard is it to play that fast and then get under control, like that close, so you can make a 5 or 6 foot shot and not smoke it? I guess.
Yeah, I think.
How hard is it to play with that speed and control your game?
I mean, I don't know. I think that's an athleticism thing. I mean, he's blessed with that, and even though he's a short white guy, I mean, he still has some things that go towards him. It's his speed and his strength at that size, quickness, ability to stop and start. So he's athletic, contrary to popular belief.